No stop.
Yes.
No stop. No stop.
Wait,
Are you ready?
do I need to break out my picture with Carson?
The man, the myth. Oh, God.
Here we go. Oh, hold on. Let me.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh, if we're gonna go fire shoot Carson. Okay, here we go.
I mean, I have pictures without him in a fire suit. Hold on. So,
Look, we finally got Riley without a hat on. Literally
mm,
freshly climbed out of his car.
that's the first time I met Carson.
Bro, literally drop dead gorgeous. That's it. That's the comment.
I even told him because I saw him the day before and he was on the back of a golf cart and he was walking the red carpet for the truck or not for the trucks, for the cup race. And I stopped him and I'm like, I wanted to stop you yesterday, but you were on a golf cart. And he was like, stop me next time. I will stop for you. And I'm like,
Please.
don't do that to me.
Also, Cars kind of literally, he needs selfie lessons. He holds
He
the
does.
phone down low. I'm like, bro, you have long arms for a reason.
Oh,
Use them. Don't
oh,
go
here we
down low.
go. Here, him in a puffer jacket.
Oh, we got the winner. The winner?
Oh, yes. All right. Okay. Let's get into this, or else we're gonna be here all night.
Let's not be here all night because I still gotta get up and go to work tomorrow.
Me too. All right. Welcome, guys. It is the 15th episode. Woo! All right. It's the Trackside Girls podcast, and
Killer.
it's Talladega edition. So, let's do a rundown. We're just gonna go through everything, and then at the end of the NASCAR, or actually, should we wait all the stories to the end, just so we can knock everything out first? Should that should we do it that way?
Probably because we got a lot of stories.
Okay. Okay. So let's do the rundown of the list. Um so as always, NASCAR first. Um we got some news that um the Indianapolis race next season will be ran on the oval. So the Indy road course is no more. At least for the 2024 season, which I am a little sad about, because that it was a race that my boy could really win. um, but who knows? It'll be fun to see a race on the oval. I since I've been watching, I don't really remember a race ever happening, or a NASCAR race ever happening on the Indy Oval. So this is gonna be fun. It's probably happened like in my early years. I was 7 years old whenever I was pulling for Casey Kane, so so I don't know the schedule back then. Okay, um, but anyway, let's get into the race or the weekend. Um, Chase Purdy got truck pole. Um, as for the race, something honestly kind of scary happened. As Zane Smith was coming onto pit road, he had too much rear brake and his truck turned sideways as he's trying to go into his pit box and hits one of his crew members. His tire carrier. He had two tires with him, and luckily, no, he wasn't hurt. He was honestly very smart about it in that split-second decision. He dropped the tires that he was holding and kind of like threw himself up onto the truck, just to like minimize the weight of what he would be hit with. Um,
Yeah.
and he did an interview directly after that, and he was saying he was ready to go. He was like, "I'm ready for the next pit stop. Like, let's go."
Yeah.
Um, I know other guys on Zane's pit crew, um, and but I don't know this guy specifically, so I'll have to ask them about it. Or if I see this specific guy, like, yo, what's up? You okay? You good? Um, but yes, that isn't the first time that somebody's been hit on pit road, but I feel like that was the most extreme. Um, and so during the truck race, Tyler Ankrum, Stuart Friesen, Greg Van Alst, and David Gilliland all wrecked right before the end of stage two. Um, Stuart, let's see, hold on. Stuart Friesen and Greg Van Alst had left the track to go to the hospital. Um, they were released, and Greg Van Alst has a broken vertebrae. Um, we don't know of any injuries to Stuart Friesen, but those were the injuries reported for Greg Van Alst. There, lap 52, there was a multi-truck accident, and was that the one that Carson was in, or was it the one that was at the very end? I can't remember which one he was in. Um, but Carson was in one of them. But there was a big
I,
wreck.
I want to say he was in the very end one.
Okay. So there was a really big wreck at the very end of the race, sending them into NASCAR overtime. Um, but to get through that, I think they only restarted once, as far as I can remember. Um, but Brett Moffitt wins at Talladega and gets I believe he was driving, was he driving the 40 or 34 truck or 36 truck?
He was a 34 truck.
Okay.
34.
So,
I just pulled it up.
Okay.
Because I couldn't remember.
So Brett Moffitt was driving the 34 truck for Front Row Motorsports, and he got the debut win for Front Row in the 34 car. Gosh, I keep mixing those numbers up. I'm numbers dyslexic, okay?
I'm just dyslexic in general. I don't even know how to talk.
But yes, big win for Brett Moffitt. As far as I know, he doesn't really. I don't think he really has a seat for next season. So this was really, really big move for him, and that's gonna get a lot more teams interested in him. Haley Deegan got a top 10 finish. I believe she finished, I want to say 8th. So I know. Well, we were talking last week about how she's a midfield, but so I wanted to mention that because she did really well at Talladega.
Yeah, she finished 8th.
Yeah, nobody was talking about her the entire race. She kept her truck clean. That's the way to go. As for the Cup side, Carson was the only driver to not finish his quali lap because the the car backfired and lost power. So he had to start dead last. Which was upsetting. But Eric Almirola was the one that ended quali being first. He got the pole. I felt like all these Stewart-Haas cars were strong in qualifying. You had Ricky Bobby and Cal Naughton Jr. going into this race. How can you How can you be bad?
That was personally, that was great right there.
Um, so something that I felt like was gonna be a highlight of this episode, after the truck race, Matt Crafton, pretty sure he broke Nick Sanchez's nose. Um, so I'm I'm gonna tell what I've heard because like I listened to um, Nick's interview after he got out of the info care center, and also I read the tweet thread of Matt Crafton. So I'm gonna try to summarize. First, let's summarize the video. The video starts as Matt Crafton is throwing a punch and knocking Nick Sanchez to the ground. And so there are already crew members there trying to pull Matt Crafton away from Nick Sanchez. And Nick Sanchez, the first thing you see of him is his face covered in blood. Like, he was completely busted up.
He was.
And you have Matt Crafton over to the side, like, crew members got him pulled away. But Nick Sanchez is over here yelling essentially death threats. And he's like, I'm gonna, I don't want to say it because I don't want to get like demonetized. But like I'm going to eliminate you at Homestead. But in other words, and a lot more explicit. And
more.
so he was saying that directly after he got punched in the face, okay? So Nick Sanchez's side of the story was Matt Crafton came up to him, tapped him on the back, Nick turned around, Matt Crafton punched him in the face. Okay? So Nick Sanchez was like, I got sucker punched. Like, he attacked me type thing. And then Matt Crafton's side of the story was, we had a conversation. Nick Sanchez threatened me, so that's why I hit him. Okay? That part wasn't caught on video. There were, like, Matt Crafton said there was witnesses to that, but there has been nobody coming out to confirm his story. All we have is the video to go off of, and it's clearly Matt Crafton, like, literally on the ground on top of Nick Sanchez. So, and we usually the NASCAR's ruling on like suspensions and stuff, they usually come on Tuesdays. We're filming this on a Monday, so there may be more news that comes out about that. But ultimately, everybody thinks that Matt Crafton will be suspended, potentially indefinitely. A lot of people want him to be parked for the rest of the season because Matt Crafton is a 47-year-old man and assaulted a 22-year-old, basically, kid. He's the size of me. Nick Sanchez is not much bigger than I am, and I'm like 5'2", 5'3".
No, he's not, because we've met him before, and he's literally your height.
Yes, I get it. He is 22 years old. He's got a big mouth. Okay, like
he does.
He talks a lot of crap, but 47-year-old man, veteran in this sport, should have known better than to punch someone in the face. So, and essentially that goes against some of NASCAR's code of conduct that they now put in place. Because obviously, there's going to be fights in NASCAR. Like, you had Ross Chastain completely deck Noah Gragson. And so there's different instances like that. But nothing as extreme as this, where Nick Sanchez had to have his face glued back. Like, he did say that instead of stitches, they just put glue in his face. And there was a purple mark on his nose, and he did mention something about something potentially being broken. As in, his nose could be broken. Like, Nick
He's
Sanchez...
gonna have, he's gonna have a broken nose and a black eye.
Yeah. Like, Nick Sanchez could potentially press charges for this. Like, that is... Even if Nick Sanchez did threaten him, that is assault. Like, of what Matt Crafton did. And technically in the state of Alabama, if that would have went through, that's a year in jail from what I've read. So, whoops.
I don't know. Everything was just crazy.
Yes. But so that was one of the main, I don't want to say highlights because that's not what I want this note sport to be known for. Like, on Twitter, all I've been seeing, all the Formula One people that, like, I interact with, I've seen them repost that video, and they're like, how come I always see NASCAR? It's always guys fighting. And I'm like, that's not what we want our sport to be known for. But that happened. More news to come on that next episode. We will follow up with Matt Crafton gets punishment and if Nick Sanchez gets punishment, and how it furthers. Okay. Chase Briscoe's mustache. He committed to the bit. He shaved his mustache like Cal in Talladega Nights. And then he came out for driver intros and did the little box, like, and he completely caught Mamba off guard. Like, it was hilarious. Like, Mamba just straight up just busted out laughing because when he realized what he did.
To be fair, Carson did tweet Briscoe and tell him, if you don't do this, then you didn't actually commit to it.
And then also in Chase Briscoe's interview before qualifying, he used movie quotes in his interview. And then Ryan Preece's interview before qualifying, he grabbed he literally acted, he literally played the part of Ricky Bobby in the interview.
Well, they knew that if they were going to be Ricky Bobby and Hal, they had to commit to the part.
Yeah, they had to commit to the bit.
Come on now. They had to.
Yeah, so that was a very funny part of the weekend.
It was.
So, good news for the Harrison girls out there. Roger Penske confirmed that Harrison Burton will be back in the 21 car next year. So, you will be seeing Harrison Burton on track next season. So we talked about how Spire bought KBM last episode. They also bought the KBM engine shop as well as the building and everything. Like, Kyle sold everything to him. Kyle will be running races in the Truck Series for them next season. I think they said about 4 races or so. But Spire is going to be moving to the KBM building, which, if you don't know where that's at, that's actually in Mooresville. It's right down the road from both Penske and Junior Motorsports. And Spire is actually originally located right behind Charlotte Motor Speedway. If you guys didn't know that. Fun fact. So they're going to be moving from Concord to Mooresville for the bigger space. Mamba, we talked about him about the intros, but Mamba is actually a race car driver. Like, he grew up, or not really grew up, but he came up in that group with Ryan Blaney and Bubba Wallace and all them. And Mamba, chief hype officer of NASCAR, is also a race car driver. And he is going to be driving in the ARCA race at Phoenix So he's gonna be back in the car. I'm pretty sure he does like lower, like late model races, but he's finally gonna be. I'm pretty sure he's raced ARCA races before, but I think this is the first one of the season that he's doing. So, as for the Cup race, there was a big wreck with 27 to go. So, I'm not sure if I've ever said it on the podcast, but I have called Brad Keselowski Team Neverlift, because Brad's a good pusher, okay? It can go either way. He's a good pusher, but it can go, there's an upside and a downside to that. The upside is, if he pushes you, you're going to the front, okay? The downside is, if your car is not good enough to be in the front of him, in front of him, you're getting wrecked. That's how it goes with Brad Keselowski. And it has happened with multiple people. But Brad Keselowski did that and wrecked Carson Hocevar, who it caught Ty Gibbs, Harrison Burton, Austin Dillon, all in this wreck, and they got out of the infield care center. Brad, I was not very happy with his interview, because he's like, okay, one, you know it's a rookie in front of you, okay? That's number one. This rookie has never driven on a super speedway in a cup car. Number two, he is not a full-time rookie.
This was literally Carson's first time driving a cup car at Talladega, because in the garage it said first super speedway literally on the screen.
Yeah.
And so Brad, like, somebody mentioned to him, like, hey, did you think that, oh, this guy's a rookie in front of me, like, maybe I shouldn't push him as hard? Brad goes, well, there's only one way to learn. Brad, that's not the answer. That is not the answer. Okay? Then you have Austin Dillon, who was basically just, like, a casualty in this, okay? He, like, straight up insulted Carson and was like, yeah, his car wasn't driving all day. He couldn't hold a straight line. And I'm like, shut up. I'm not a fan of Austin Dillon. End of story.
Sorry, Carson has talent. Austin Dillon just has his granddaddy's money. He's not even a good race car driver. Like, Carson has talent. Austin Dillon just has granddaddy's money.
It's like, how, you know.
Also, wait.
Kyle Busch.
You pulled up that comment that I found earlier.
Kyle Busch. So, Kyle Busch has more wins than Austin Dillon does in the past 10 seasons.
So, I literally have a whole list of how Carson has drove compared to Austin Dillon. Listen to this. Darlington, Hocevar finished P17th. Dillon finished P20th. Bristol, Hocevar P11. Dillon P17. Texas, Hocevar was P16. Dillon was P36. And then Talladega was Dillon was P34, and Hocevar was P36.
And that was only because Carson was actually involved in the wreck, so he got put further down the list.
Yeah, but still, Carson knows how to drive a car.
Yeah, like, it's literally, Carson has no experience on a super speedway.
Like, this was literally his first time racing a cup car at Talladega.
Yeah.
Fight me on it. Like, I will find you at Martinsville and I will throat punch you. Don't come at Carson. Do not come at Carson like that.
I've seen a comment from somebody that said Austin Dillon's probably mad because the rumors are Carson Hocevar is taking his brother's ride.
Well, yeah, but as far as I know, they're not really, like, Ty Dillon is like the black sheep of the family. Like, that's why Austin Dillon gets all of the glory at RCR and not Ty. So,
Well, it's time for Ty Dillon to just retire because he ain't very good.
I would like to see Ty Dillon in Austin Dillon's car and actually see who can do better out of the two with the same equipment. Like, I want to see if Ty Dillon is actually better than Austin Dillon. Because a lot of what Austin, like, I'm not necessarily saying he's a bad driver. But the two wins that I know of that he's gotten, he's, like, wrecked somebody or knocked them out of the way to win. He can't win straight up, as far as I'm aware.
Or everybody else has wrecked out, and so he was somehow the last car standing in there, and he ended up freaking winning the race.
Like, Daytona last season?
Yeah.
Oh, don't even get me started. He knocked Austin Cindric out of the way, almost wrecking him. Like, luckily Austin saved it. But yeah, he can't, like I said, he can't win straight up, as far as I'm aware.
No, he can't. He literally has to wreck people out, or the entire field basically has to wreck for him to actually win a race, because he physically cannot win straight up. He has to wreck someone, or the entire field just wrecks for him to get a win.
But, okay. We still got a lot more. Let's go through this. We're going on rants. But, okay, so there was a red flag for the safer barrier because both Austin Dillon and Ty Gibbs hit the same spot on the tire barrier. Or not tire barrier, safer barrier. So they stopped the race to get that checked out. But all in all, Ryan Blaney wins in Talladega. The two other wins that he has won at Talladega were 7 1,000ths of a second. And this one was 12 hundredths? Is that how that works? 12 hundredths of a second?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he wins when it comes down to the wire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But so he was fighting Kevin Harvick to win that race, and ultimately Kevin Harvick got disqualified. Let me see. It was for something with the windshield. It was the windshield fasteners. I'm not exactly sure what happened with them, but it was something that NASCAR deemed not to code. So he got disqualified for that. So everyone moved up a spot. Pretty sure Carson made a meme out of that. He got like 36th, and then whenever Harvick got disqualified, he's like, "Oh, yay, top 35." But anyway, that was the race. The Cup Series is going to Iowa Speedway in 2024. I believe for the first time. And Corey Heim and Haley Deegan lose their pit selection for Homestead because they failed tech at Talladega. I could not think of that. Sad news for me. because Mike Rockenfeller is going to be driving the 42 for Legacy Motor Club at the Roval. So it will not be Carson Hocevar, and I don't know if he will actually even be there. So sad. This week is on Thursday. So whenever this episode is out, it would have been yesterday. The Kickball Classic returns. Last year it was a really big deal. It was included in Race for the Championship. They had a little segment on it. But a lot of the drivers in NASCAR come out, as well as personalities of NASCAR, and they all come out and play kickball and do a big kickball tournament. There is a silent auction that happens. Let's see. What else? I think a lot of it's just like to raise money for charity. But it is ultimately ran and organized by Corey LaJoy of Spire, and it turns out to be a really big deal. Like it was a really big turnout last year. Frankie Muniz was there and played kickball. I met him. Ryan Blaney was there last year, but as far as I'm aware, a lot of the playoff drivers denied coming back because they obviously don't want to risk injury, which is understandable. But hopefully it'll be a big turnout. Oh, I just realized. No, she meant playoffs in every series.
Carson won't be there because he's in the playoffs.
No. I'm so sad. That makes it even worse. Okay, anyway. But I will record interactions, and I will most likely be taking my camera to get some pictures and stuff. And then we'll talk about it next episode. So one of the things that apparently truck teams do after they go through tech, whenever they're pushing the trucks to the grid, is they will mess with the spoilers on the car. And so, like after tech, NASCAR has started taping the spoilers in place, just so the teams aren't able to move them, which is pretty wild. Something in the post-race press conference, when Ryan won, he was asked why he doesn't do burnouts, and his response was apparently Dale Inman pulled him to the side one time and said that the winner of the Kentucky Derby doesn't get off his horse and start beating the crap out of it. So, what makes sense, you know? Like your car is your steed. That car is what helps you win this race. So yeah, okay, that makes sense. I get it. Chillin'. So Ryan Ellis is going to be racing at the Roval for Alpha Prime. And Connor Daly is going to be in the 53 for Emmerling Gaze this weekend. On to our IndyCar, because I wanted Connor Daly to be the last one, so it kind of transfers over, you know. I wanted to talk about Katie, Devlin DeFrancesco's girlfriend. I was on her TikTok live the other day, and she was getting ready. Her birthday just passed recently, and so she was getting ready And you have Dev in the background. Okay, it's so weird to see him not in a racing setting. Like it's so weird. And so like I get on there and I'm about to type "Hey bestie" in chat, like as if I she actually knows who I am, you know. And so I'm like, so I like type in chat and I'm like, not me about to say "Hey bestie" as if we're actually friends. And then she's like, "What are you talking about? We are friends." And I'm like, "Don't do that to me. Do not do that to me. I will get too attached. I am already delusional. Please don't do that." And I am older than her. She is in dental school. She is thriving in dental school. I believe she wants to be an oral surgeon. And this like, it's not, it's not that she looks old. It's just she looks a lot more put together than I do at our age. And I'm like, and I just feel like I need to be in a lot different place than I am right now in my life. Um, because of her. But I love her so much. She was very pretty and very funny. Like, if you haven't seen her TikTok profile, and you need, she is like, she needs to be a comedian. Um, Joseph Newgarden was at the Tennessee Titans game. I don't exactly know what he was doing, but he was holding a sword. Um, so that's about as far as I know about that. So on to Formula One. I talked about an IndyCar wag. Now I want to talk about a Formula One wag. Lily Mooney He, which is Alex Albon's girlfriend. She is a professional golfer. If you guys didn't know, she had a top 10 finish in the Northwest Arkansas Golf Championship, where she played a 62 and a 65. I don't exactly know what that means, because I'm not into golf at all. But she, from what I've read, she did really well.
Those are good scores.
So, but she finished with the top 10. And that's kind of what she's doing. She's doing like the championships throughout the U.S. But yes, we love the Formula One wags thriving. Okay, like we had Liam Lawson's girlfriend post a TikTok asking Liam, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And this man, so he was driving, okay? And she's like recording him while he's driving. And he is just like so zoned out. And he's like just revving the car, like just not paying attention. He was so spaced out. It was like almost comical. Speaking of golf, both Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz were at the Ryder Cup in Rome. So they spent their time there. I believe they're making, I guess, general content, and then also both of them are really big golfers. So it was really cool that I'm pretty sure they got invited out there, as far as I know. Because I believe one of the mutual sponsors is Hilton, for Lando. Like, Hilton sponsors McLaren, and then some of what I've seen him wearing had the Hilton logo on it. And then we got a new Lando log, where Lando was karting with Zach Brown and Oscar Piastri. And Lando has his own kart, like like people can, I guess, buy to race, and it's called Ellen Kart. So he went back to basically like the testing team that he uses for his kart, which is also the team that he grew up racing for in karting and won championships with. So it's on YouTube if you guys want to go watch that. And then also new Quadrant merch came out, as well as Sebastian Vettel dropped B merch for Buzzing Corner from Suzuka. And then there was a video of Charles Leclerc with, I believe it was his niece, and it absolutely broke Formula One Twitter. They
Literally, my Twitter kept kicking me out because I could not get onto Twitter. Same with TikTok. Can't get onto TikTok because it literally kicked me off TikTok for a while.
Yeah, like people were freaking out about that video, as well as the picture that he posted. And everybody's like, "You're posting that for free? Are you sure about that?"
Mm-hmm.
And Pierre Gasly was at Paris Fashion Week. I don't know. I think it's specifically Paris. I don't know if they call it like France Fashion Week. I don't know, like because like New York Fashion Week. But I guess Paris Fashion Week is what I'm gonna call it. And then Max Verstappen's birthday was Sunday. I do believe the 30th. And it is said that Daniel Ricciardo is the favored option to replace Checo mid-season if needed. It's not like in 2024. So they would put Daniel Ricciardo to be the first option, even though he is a full-time driver next season for AlphaTauri. They would pull him from AlphaTauri and put him into Red Bull before anybody else. So big news for my the Danny Rick Nation. And then Charles was in a Ray-Ban Meta ad. Mark Zuckerberg was talking about the live streaming glasses that they meant, and Charles is the one who is promoting them in the ad, and you already know they're gonna sell a lot of those because it's Charles Leclerc. Some sad news. We talked about Liam Lawson's contract for next season. Christian came out and said that they did not guarantee Liam a seat in 2025. Unfortunately. But Michael Andretti won the approval of the I don't know what they call it, but there's like multiple steps to trying to becoming a team in Formula One, and they passed the first step to become the 11th team in Formula One. And as far as I'm aware, I think the max amount of cars is 26, I think, is the max that they have set, like, in general. There's usually always been just 10, but I believe the max is 26. Then Lando Norris, Pato O'Ward, Alexander Rossi, and Tony Kanaan are going to be driving in the Can-Am race at Sonoma on November 10th through the 12th, which is the week before the Las Vegas Grand Prix. So, for all of my West Coast McLaren girlies, I know Tony Kanaan's not really McLaren, but they are going to all be driving different McLarens, as far as I'm aware from what I read. There was a potential strike threat earlier this week. Las Vegas hospitality workers voted to authorize a strike that could impact upwards of 30 casinos and hotels in the lead up to the inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix in November. The Culinary Workers Union, the largest union in Nevada, has not given a timeline for any strike action as it continues bargaining for better pay, benefits, and working conditions. Some reports say a strike could impact the Grand Prix and or the Super Bowl. Then obviously F1's gonna keep an eye on this because that's gonna like completely screw their entire if like this race is huge.
And they literally have already repaved all of the roads that the F1 cars have to drive on. And let me tell you what, Las Vegas people are not very happy about that one.
Yeah, no, they cut down the trees along the strip for better viewing. When they were originally
when we went there, literally every road was like blocked and they were doing work. It was awful.
Well, see, they were originally supposed to be relocating the trees, and instead they just cut them down.
Because they had nowhere else to put them.
Like, that literally defeats the purpose.
Else to put them.
Formula One is supposed to be this huge, sustainable, empire. Like, they preach so much about sustainability. And you're letting them cut down trees for a race?
Yeah.
But all right, that's all the news that we have. So now on to the girls' Talladega stories. Where do you want to start?
Well, once again, it was another Carson Hocevar weekend.
Mm-hmm.
With if you throw in a little bit of Riley Hurt and a little bit of Van Blaney, but the garage, the way that we went, because we got like garage passes or whatever. We went to all of the garages. Okay, well, a lot of the boys were not all in the same garage, except for Harrison. It was Harrison, Carson. Go down a few stalls and you got Riley all in one garage.
Mm-hmm.
So you know where we chilled at most of the weekend, right? Right. We would just stayed in front of Carson's car. Although I was kind of in the middle, like I was split half and half because, you know, Harrison, but also Carson.
Because Harrison and Carson was right beside each other.
Literally. Man. Oh, wait. Yeah, so we checked that out. But the truck,
qualifying was happening, and then we just went out.
Yeah, we also have Carson's Cup car that Legacy made, and we were wearing them for the truck race, and we were standing at the fence, and obviously you look for a tall giant wearing a blue fire suit. He wasn't wearing a blue fire suit. He had his fire suit around his waist and was just wearing a t-shirt.
I noticed him, and I was like, "Hey, Carson." He looked over, he was like, "Hey," and then it took him just
It took a second to figure out who we actually were, and he was like, "Oh, hey, guys." We were like, "Hey."
And he was like, "I love the shirts."
Oh, you know, we wore them first. And then we went on to, like, I don't even know how to explain it. We kind of went on to pit road. Kind of, because the guy just kind of looked at our wristbands, and he saw that we were just, like, in the infield, and he was like, "Yeah, you guys can go in there." And we were like, "What?"
I'll take it.
Yeah, I was like, this feels so wrong but so right at the exact same time. So we were literally walking down there.
Because it's the garage passes, you can go to, like, sign, like, see the driver's intros and everything.
Yeah.
So we went to go see truck intros. And
yeah,
then we left.
We didn't go to Cup driver intros because no thank you. It was crowded,
Mm-hmm.
and you would be in the very back. So we went there, and then Carson was like hurrying to his truck. But he was signing things, taking pictures, and then he saw us, and he was like, "You two, come here, quick. We'll take a picture." He's like, "But I gotta go."
He's
We were
like, quickly. He's like,
we
quickly.
were like, "Okay, we'll take it." So he already knew what we wanted, so it was fine. Then let's skip to our lovely cup day, shall we? Molly, take the lead on this one because a lot happened on this one.
No. Truck day wasn't finished yet. Because also after the trucks, Cup was had a qualifying.
It's true. I don't even know what days happened. It was a lot. All I know is that Carson was literally just my entire weekend. That's all I know. And I cried. I've only ever cried for him one time. That was the first time I ever met him in Martinsville. I cried almost every single time after meeting him.
Homie, you're about to cry right now.
Oh, I got her on video. Crying.
Okay, please tell me you didn't actually cry in front of him, though.
No, she waited until he left.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, we literally the entire time that Molly and I were standing in there, we were like, calm, cool, and collected, calm, cool, and collected. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. I didn't cry.
Yeah. But yeah, still truck, like the truck day after truck race, cup qualifying. We went back to where Harrison, Carson, and Riley's little garage was. And then, of course, Carson didn't get to qualify. Their garage is closed and everything. And all the pit crew members left. So we're like, Riley's still out there. So we're just going to go down to his garage area and wait for him. And after he got done qualifying, he drove the car back in. And after he got out, he just came in and signed stuff and took pictures.
True facts.
So,
finally got him without a hat on. I've only ever there with that man with a hat on.
Which we talked about last week.
Yeah, literally, I was like, Molly, we manifested that because we talked about we only ever have him with a hat on. Then this man gets out of his car with no hat on.
Okay, so I personally like taking live photos just so I can get like the movement in them, you know, cuz so Lakota in hers, she did a live photo and it's literally Riley fixing his hair right before he's trying to get the end of this photo.
Let me.
There you go.
Guys, I got that on moment. I got that.
I got Carson on pit road fixing his hair. I got that.
That was a no comment moment for me. You should pull that bad boy up, shall we?
Yes.
While we're at fixing their hair. Yeah. Fun times. Me. Literally me.
I'm gonna watch that clip back of like my facial expression as soon as I stop. Whenever I'm editing. Anyway.
Now that pretty much ended our truck day.
Yeah. Ended the truck day.
Let's move to our cup day where we literally just camped out in front of Carson.
Oh my, did you really?
Literally all day long. Like we woke up at 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
We got down to the like garage experience at 9. The cup didn't open until 10.
No, we got there a little after 9.
That's true, we did.
9:30-ish.
but it didn't open until 10, so we literally sat down, and then we waited, and then they were 9 minutes late opening up the garages, but then we went around to the side because they had the side door open, and we had a front row spot to Carson's area, and just camped out there literally the entire day until the race started. Because that's what we do best, is we camp out.
We just stood there waiting, and then Carson comes into the garage, and we are just standing there. He was talking to Luke and everybody, and then he looks up at me and Lakota and waves and says, "Hey."
Everybody literally around us was like, what? We were like, listen here, we kind of know Carson because we met him literally 6 times in Kansas. We saw him at least like 3 times yesterday, so sorry guys. It was kind of funny though.
Do you want to share your story about his nickname?
Oh, okay. Well, it kind of goes into, well, it was kind of like towards the end because like he was about to like leave his garage. Because after we got done taking like a group photo where you can literally just see my head. Like I look like a floating head in the picture, but it's so funny. We wanted another group picture with him. And so, you know, how to get his attention clearly. Mollie had yelled Mollie had said Carson's name, but he didn't pay attention. And I was like, "Cars, come here." And he was like, "What?" He said it. Here's the thing. He said it sassy, and it was so funny because I had said his name sassy. I was like, "Cars, come here." And he was like, "What?" I was like, "We want a group photo." And he was like, "Okay." And then literally proceeds to hold the phone down low. And I'm like, "Boy, you got long arms, so hold it up high and take that selfie."
We don't want it all the way down here.
We don't want no downward angles. Those are the least attractive pictures. But somehow on him, it looks fine. And I don't know why. Yeah, so love that I just gave him a new nickname. I was like, "Guys, come here."
Yeah. He comes over and signs stuff, and we have our pictures and everything, and our collage thing. We had the first time we ever met Carson, because even me and Lakota, that picture.
First ever
even me
picture.
and Lakota have even discussed this. We were like, we're gonna ask Carson if he remembers that picture. And so I was like, "Hey Carson, I got a question. Do you remember?" Like, "Hey Carson, do you remember this? This is the first time we met you." He's like, "Yeah, kind of. Where is that from?" Like, Barnesville. He's like, "Yep, I remember that."
You know, because we weren't like the only 2 people that like screamed your name or anything.
So, okay, so it came up on my Snapchat memories the other day, and it was a flashback of last year's Talladega because I went, and I want to show you the video of let's see, it was on race day. Okay. So, this is it.
I'm at Carson Hocevar.
So that was like, I literally recorded a video after I met him, and I was like, I have to document this moment. Like, hold on.
There was a funny moment. Carson pulled his phone out of his pocket, and he almost drops it. I didn't even think he heard me say this, and I was like, "Now don't." I said, "Don't drop your phone now." And he goes, "What was that?" And I was like, "Oh, I said, don't drop your phone now." He's like, "Yeah."
Whoa, what was it? What'd you
He's like, "What was that?"
It's like,
he's like, "What was
nothing. Don't look at me. Don't listen to me.
Also, literally, okay. So also the bracelet. I feel like we've talked about this bracelet right here.
Okay.
Okay. Literally, he comes up to us, and I'm like,
We
Molly said something about the bracelet, and I was like, "Carson, do you have this bracelet?" He was like, he got excited. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's in my wallet."
He
It's
pulls
literally
out
been in his wallet for 3 weeks since Kansas.
Oh my god! So you were able to fix it for him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It is
except for the
broken a
fact
little bit.
that his strings are breaking.
One of
Oh.
the loops that the string goes through is broken.
Yeah. But I kid you not, he got so excited when we brought up the bracelet. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's in my wallet," and he pulls out his wallet, literally opens his wallet up, and just pulls the bracelet out. And I'm like, okay, the
He's
fact that
like,
you
"Here,
literally,
fix it."
he like, literally, he demanded Molly to fix it. He was like, "Fix it." I was like, excuse your attitude, good sir.
Chill, homeboy.
Dude, when I tell you that Carson Hocevar literally was demanding this weekend, I meant it. The truck race, when he demanded that we come over there and take a picture with him ASAP quickly, I was like, homeboy.
Slow
What?
your roll.
I got
My
the things through the loops, and then I was just like, "All right, I got it good, I guess." And then I tried to put it on him, and it was still a little too tight. And he was like, "It's tight. Try to fix it more." I'm like, "Okay, then." He said it.
Well, he was literally just standing in front of Molly and he was like, fix it more, it's tight. I was like, okay, boy. So then he literally walks over to the side and
He
he's like,
signs more stuff.
he's like signing more stuff, taking more pictures. Then he keeps like coming back over to Molly and I to see if the bracelet's done. And then we're like, I'm like, Carson, it's not done yet. We'll let you know when it's done. And he was like, okay. So he goes back to signing more
Okay,
stuff and
hold
taking
on.
more pictures. And then he comes back over.
Then it was
And-
done. Then he put it on. Then he's like, "Okay." He's like, "Okay, it's on. Now tighten it." That's what he said. He's like, "Tighten it."
Oh my gosh. Hold
I was
on.
able
was
to tighten it. He was like,
honestly-
"Okay, now it's not coming off."
It was honestly so funny.
Okay,
Ugh.
so I want to share this picture. So he was running the Xfinity race last time in Charlotte, right? Okay. So my dad takes random pictures of me. I'd like while I'm at the races and that.
That looks like you guys are about to full force hug right now.
Like look this man, the way he was smiling at me. Don't look at me like that. Do not.
After
There's so many moments I could say that happened with Carson, but like it ain't going on the podcast. Heck to the no. Let's just say he has a very flirty personality.
Oh, and we'll see. Whenever I met him at Charlotte, I told him, man, was that after? Was that after Darlington? Was that a week or I think it was like 2 weeks after Darlington, I think. Cuz he had the UPS throwback truck.
Yeah, yeah.
And he posted one of my pictures on his story. And so like, I had to go up to him and be like, "Hey, yo, you know this photo? That's mine." And he was like, "That's such a good photo." And I was like, "I know I'm a good photographer, but shut up."
Literally. Like he has such a flirty personality. He's like, I feel like him and Noah both have like, cause him and Noah both I feel like have flirty like personalities. They're like flirty, but they're like fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Carson is. And oh boy, I'm gonna need him to. I'm gonna need him to knock it down a few notches because he just needs to.
Right after I got it tightened, he was like, "Perfect, not taking it off." And then he holds his fist up for fist bumps.
Bro, I was literally shook. That was the moment that I was literally like, "Don't you dare cry right now in front of Carson. That will be an embarrassment." Well, I was like, I leaned over to Molly. I was like, "I'm gonna cry." She's like, "Don't you dare cry in front of Carson because that's embarrassing." But literally, he stuck his fist up, and I looked at him with the dumbest look ever. I was like, I'm like, you want me to? I'm like, he literally just stood there and waited
It took
until
me
we did
like
it.
a second to like process what was happening.
Bro, it literally took me 2 seconds to figure out what was actually happening. But he literally just stood there and he just waited for the fist bumps, and I'm like, you want my hand to touch your hand and give you a knuckles? What is happening? I was like, okay. I'm like, I don't know how to process this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, killer.
Alright, well.
Yeah.
With the
So that was like the last time we saw Carson.
Yeah.
And then we went to go sit down for the cup race.
That we did.
And then it was literally during the red flag.
Yeah, it was like the 21 laps to go, and Molly was like, let's just go to Victory Lane because we were literally right
Victory
near it.
Lane was sitting right behind us. It was like during the red flag. We were like,
let's just go, and if it's nobody that we liked, then we can just leave because it's whatever.
I'm glad we got to Victory Lane when we did, because then everybody started packing in.
Busy.
See, so I screenshot that picture that you sent me, and that guy that I circled, I know that guy. Like, that is one of Ryan Blaney's biggest fans. And so that's where he was standing is where I always stand, because I know they pulled a car in right there. So then whenever I saw where you guys were standing, and I'm like, oh man, you guys don't know. You guys don't know the best place to stand. But
yeah, well, that side was kind of already packed as we got there, so we kind of just like slipped our way into where we were at. But it was actually fine because I literally just like almost fell over the barrier a couple times trying to literally lean out and like get him, but I did, and it was fine. It was really cool though. But I will say, when it got down to like the last little bit, and it kept literally switching back and forth between like Chase being up front, Blaney being up front, and then Harvick being up front, there were so many people in Victory Lane that said, I want Harvick to win so bad because like it's his last race at Talladega. They're like, but Ryan Blaney needs this win because we want him in the playoffs. So basically it was a screw Kevin Harvick moment, and it was like a let's go Blaney moment.
I just know that me and Lakota were over here holding on to each other pretty much the whole entire time.
She
was too.
He literally asked me, she's like, what are you going to do if Chase wins? And I'm like, I don't know.
So
I know at some moments, like, and when Chase got the lead, everybody in Victory Lane was started cheering.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to fill in the moment in time.
Oh no, I was standing in that spot that I was telling you about when Chase won at Talladega. And as soon as I saw that he won, I turned around and I was like, alright, I'm out of here. And there were so many Chase fans around me. I was literally like right against the barrier because I thought Ryan was going to win that race. But yeah, as soon as Chase won, I was like, yeah, I don't care enough about Chase Elliott to sit here and watch him in Victory Lane again after I just saw him win in Atlanta.
It was literally so wild in Victory Lane because then once Harvick and Kevin went over that finish line, everybody was like, who got it? And everybody was like, somebody screamed, Blaney just got the win! And I was like, Molly and I literally just started sobbing.
Like, so originally, it was after the wreck with Carson, okay? And Austin had that speeding penalty. And so I was like, nobody, and Ryan wasn't close to the front at this point. And I was like, nobody I like is going to win this race. So I'm about to go take a shower. And then I got sidetracked doing some other stuff. And my dad was watching the race in the living room. So like I kind of sat down for a minute because there was only a couple laps left. So I just sat there. I watched the entire thing. And then I'm just like sitting here like, Oh my god. Like, and then Riley, like, giving him the biggest push, like, and I'm like, oh my god. Like,
For a moment, I honestly thought that Riley was going to wreck Blaney. Because at one point, Riley got a little bit squirrely, but it's also because he had Corey LaJoy behind him, but then Corey LaJoy had Denny Hamlin behind him, so they got a little squirrely.
yeah.
There's a lot of people saying if Riley didn't wreck, he would have pushed Harvick to the win.
Maybe. Okay, hold on.
But yeah, if Harvick would have won, that would have sucked because he would have got disqualified.
So I want to show you a picture that Austin posted of Talladega. Okay, I don't know how clear you can see that. So this is Austin. He's in like 6th place, right? All of the cars behind him are wrecking. Every single one of them.
All I know is we were watching the TV. All of a sudden, we see Riley's lovely 36 White Beast Unleashed car sliding across. Chase is coming sliding across, and I'm like, what just happened?
You had Daniel Suarez literally went completely sideways over the finish line.
A lot of them literally slid across the finish line sideways.
Yeah.
I literally just saw all the cars wrecking. I saw all the cars wrecked, and then I just saw a bunch of boys sliding across the finish line sideways, and I'm like, that's not how you finish the race, boys. But I guess that's one way to do it, is sliding across it sideways.
But you guys got to see Blaney after he finished his victory lane stuff.
Bro, that man was so happy, like so happy. It was nice to see. Little did we know that we would see Blaney this weekend, because we were like, we pretty much went in there and we were like kind of dead set Carson, like dead set on Carson, but then we saw Riley, and then Blaney wins.
We thought Carson and Riley was going to be the only people we were going to see this week, and then
I was a little salty because I never saw Harrison, so that made me really bad.
You didn't see him? He didn't come to victory lane?
No, Austin Cindric is literally the only one that came to victory lane. I told Bob,
Not
I was
even Bubba Wallace didn't come to victory lane?
Neither did Chase.
I seen a video where Bubba and Joey, when Ryan drove by, they both went to the car and shook his hand.
Oh.
Yeah, unless I did that. But Austin was literally the only one that came to victory lane to congratulate him, and I know because I have picture proof of it.
Like, that...
No.
I saw that as a smart move, Austin moving out of the way to let Ryan get that stage win.
Yeah.
It's like that's a playoff point for one. And then you also get 10 points, like that moved him up the board, which he needs. And then now that he's won, that's 5 more playoff points. So as long as he gets into the round of 8, that's going to put him a little higher up the board. Hopefully he's going to be above that cut line. I don't necessarily see that happening. I feel like he might be the first one down on the cut line. But who knows? I can't remember the playoff points right off. But
yeah, that's
oh, what am I talking about? He won, so he's automatically in the round of 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, who are you talking about?
You guys, bro, I'm dumb. You should have told me.
I was just gonna let you keep going.
It's
I'm
okay.
like, you do know that he just won, right? So he's kind of already automatically locked in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Then hopefully that will help him get into the round of 4. There you go.
Yeah.
Because they
there you
got
go.
Because in the round of 8, they have Homestead, Miami. They have Martinsville, which is the last race before the playoffs. And then Vegas. Vegas. They have Vegas in the round of 8.
Do they?
Yep. It's
Oh.
Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville before they go to Phoenix.
Man, Martinsville's gonna be. I'm gonna have to yell a few boys'. Names. At Harrison Burton. I will get aggressive again, like I did in Kansas.
Okay. All right. Let's do a rundown of this coming weekend. This weekend is Charlotte for the NASCAR Cup and Xfinity Series, as well as Formula One going to Qatar. At I think it's pronounced Losail, or Losail. I think it's Losail. But they're going to be in Qatar. It is very possible that Max Verstappen, if he wins the sprint race, he will have clinched the championship on a Saturday instead of a Sunday. So it is very possible that Max Verstappen is going to be walking away this weekend with a 3rd world championship title. So you guys will see me screaming over that next week. And we have the Roval. I've never been to a Roval, so this is very exciting. I'm going to at least the Xfinity race. I'm going to the kickball game. I am going to be there Friday because I have a Lionel event. And then the Xfinity race on Saturday. Hopefully, I'm just hoping, like, Carson just shows up in general. Maybe he's just, like, hiding around, you know? Because he stayed for the Cup race at Talladega that one year. That's how I met him. Maybe he just shows up because it's the home race, you know? So who knows? Hopefully. We can only pray. And then now that we know that technically he's a playoff driver too, it is very possible he's not going to be in the kickball game, which I was really looking forward to him hopefully being there. But
And then I bursted your bubble. I was like, he's a playoff driver, so he won't be there.
I don't know. She technically said most of them. She didn't specifically say he said no. I'm just trying to hopefully find a bright side.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, it's still a really fun event. Like I said, we will cover it in the next episode because we're filming this episode like 3 days before it happens, but the episode is released the day after it happens. But you guys will get all of my stories whenever we get back from my weekends at I was gonna say races, but like that it's not all specifically racing. My weekend in North Carolina. I guess. But wow. All right. This is probably gonna be the longest episode that we've had. But I think that's it. Are we good?
I think so.
Okay. Alright, guys. Well, this has been the 15th episode of the Carson Hocevar Fan Club. Oh, I mean the Trackside Girls podcast. Just so you know, that was purposeful.
Oh, we know.
But hopefully, you know what? We're gonna get Carson on here. We can probably get Carson, Parker, Kim Kuhn.
Also, I'm saying, if Carson comes on this, tell me to shut my mouth because I say the most embarrassing things to that man, clearly, because I literally just gave him a full nickname, and I was like, Cars, come here. I have no filter when it comes to Carson, clearly.
But and then we haven't even had Justin Marks be like, hey yo, hit me up. So
Yo, hey, hit me up.
we might try to do something over the break. Maybe like an episode a month of trying to get a guest on. Who knows? We'll see. That would be my attempt of like I feel like that would be something cool to try and do. Because we won't really have anything to report on.
That's true.
Because there's no races. So it'd be cool to try and get some of the NASCAR personalities on here. But all right. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you next week.